evening, everybody. I am DM Stewart 1981. Alongside me in the booth is Saracen for this week's Platy Party race number 1. How we doing tonight, Saracen?
Oh, it's a good old time. We're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna be showing some fabulous platypus racing as we go through this week's reveal, which I don't think we're gonna have time before the race actually kicks off to go over the flags in detail. But let me just give you the real short version. We got no mages, no magic shops, and all the weapons have spells.
Yeah. I mean that's pretty much the short version. We do have locked mermaid prison, but we have random unlocked incentive in C. All 4 of our themed dungeons are incentivized. Words are hard.
Varying shades of random in all of them.
Yes, varying shades of random in all of them.
We'll get to that when we get into each one, I think.
Yeah. As I recall, it's post-rod, shallow,
unlocked, and sky. So this flag set is really designed to stretch your legs a little bit when we get into it for the weekly and for the race tomorrow night. The idea is we want to take our melees and do goofy things by using weapons. Every weapon will have a spell. All of the weapon names will be replaced with those spells. Our Power Gauntlet and the Zeus Gauntlet will still be those 2 things, but we are going to be using some rather random things within the item magic. We are using the curated pool, which makes sure that there's not nuke or fade, and also that there's not just cure and fire.
Yeah. Also, there's not garbage.
Yeah, so the curated list is really designed to be that middle band of things.
We're off.
We are. Fire 2 and Bane weapons here. Now, important note, you will not know what the item is for sure unless you actually hit select and look at the item stats. This is really important because when you're looking at especially when you're getting the incentivized items in this flag set.
And that was definitely pro rings I saw in that armor shop.
Ooh, that's good.
Pro ring plus 7.
So it's very notable. The Masa and the Xcal are both incentivized, and you'll have to just kind of guess which one it is based on the stats. Hint, the Masa starts at 50 hit, the Xcal has low crit. The Katanas and the Vorpal will also notably have magic, but they are not incentivized. So,
also hint on that. The Masa is usable by all classes. The Xcal is usable by the Knight only.
Yes. But a lot of the time, you get the item and you just kind of like running with it as a casting item. We got Slab and Adamant coming out of the Princess and the King.
That's good to see. So I have counted coup upon myself a few times for making choices or doing things that had knocked me out of Winter Tournament. One of our racers tonight is the one that knocked me out of that Winter Tournament. One of our racers on stream tonight is the one who knocked me out of that Winter Tournament, that being Ravioli.
Free pro ring coming out of the Dwarf 2-pack, which is nice.
Yes.
And that is the key. Does he drop down? He does immediately go down. Our other 3 racers all making the standard and principled play of heading straight to Provoca. Now, what I'll say about Provoca is I think it makes sense in the context of like we want to clear out this area, and unless we have the canoe, it's a dead end and we have to backtrack. The flip side of it is it's not nearly so important because we can't buy level 2 magic there.
Yeah.
Like a weapon shop is nice, but like, yeah.
Something I've noticed on actually in Ravioli's stream is saw something called an F cure and a
Oh,
smoke.
yes. So we also have new consumables turned on. So F cure is a full cure. It is cure 4 on a little potion bottle. Phoenix will cast life. Blast, I believe, is fire 3, and smoke is an automatic run from battle. So all of these bonus items are very handy when we're looking at moving forward.
Yes, those are super, super handy. Although I'm not sure I used any of them when I ran the when I made the weekly seed.
So very notable weapon here. There were Invis 2 knives.
Oh, hello.
Those can be very helpful, as that will get you the defenses going into your major boss fights.
Yes.
But
I did not notice what the class blessings are. Let me find those in the notes.
The other thing to keep in mind, though, is that a big portion of these sorts of seeds, where we're using item magic as our primary thing, is inventory management is a key factor. And you might not actually want to buy all of those Invis 2 knives right away, because you never know what you're going to find and maybe want to replace, or, so it can be very difficult to manage that. I tend to think of Invis 2 as something that I want maybe 2 or 3 of at most. I don't want all 4 characters to be using Invis 2 usually. 2 or 3 is good because you know that it's then 3 rounds or 2 rounds. But, you have to keep in mind, like, I'm going to be picking up a bunch of weapons and I need space. Oh, the canoe from the TNT, which I believe came from Bicky. So that is going to play in favor of our Provoca choosers.
So I'm looking and seeing the blessings here. We've got the fighter has 5/8 of a ribbon and 50 agi. The thief gets elemental magic and an extra 20 HP. And the black belt gets 40 vitality and clean magic. So any of those are viable choices.
Absolutely. Okay. Ravioli gonna find out the disappointing news about this canoe.
Yeah. It feels bad when your gamble doesn't work out.
Notable also for this flag set, we don't have Extended open on, so that canoe really did matter. But we do have Northern Docks, Ryokan Desert Dock, and Bahamut Cardia Dock on. Bahamut Cardia Dock can be very helpful.
Do we not also have Bahamut's Horde on?
We do have Bahamut's Horde, however, Cardia Islands is not incentivized.
It's not incentivized, but we do have Bahamut's Horde on, so you can pick up all of those chests without having the airship.
And also without having to go to 3 different islands.
Yes.
So you can route just Bahamut's Cave with the tail and get everything done in one place.
Yeah, wasn't thinking about an incentive play, was thinking about an efficiency play. They are random.
They are
They are
shuffled.
random. They're shuffled.
So
not.
yeah, yeah, they can always land on their originals.
They can land on their originals, or you could find the eye in Temple of Fiends or Northwest Castle.
So we didn't get to do the full rundown of the flags. However, the only party members available are the thief, fighter, and black belt, and all of the magic shops have their doors removed. You cannot enter.
And there's a comment in chat, so many fighters. That's because fighter gets 50 agility and 5/8 of a ribbon.
Yeah, so fighter is very strong in this setup. Now, what I would actually have done myself is probably taken 2 fighters, a thief, and a black belt. And the idea there being that I might find myself in a position to grind up the black belt and not care about finding the right weapon selection.
Yeah.
Also, 40 vitality and clean magic, pretty good.
Yeah, I might find the eye in the. I might find like the eye or the double agama in the first trap tile I run across.
Yeah, so I like having the black belt available because it solves for the randomness of the magic. We'll just have to see how runners deal with that as we go through, though.
Yeah, it also solves for, as we both have pointed out, the idea that you might just find that great spike tile right away. And then you can just grind up and punch through everything. And as we've pointed out several times for the ducklings, the person who opens the fewest chests is probably going to win.
Assuming they found all the right tools, yeah.
Yeah, assuming you found all the right tools, and if you haven't found all the right tools, why'd you stop opening chests?
Right. Well, it can be hard to tell if you have the right tools.
This is valid, especially when you can't necessarily tell what the weapon is because it has the spell on it. Because it has the spell name on it. That's a fast. Is that a fast axe?
Sure looks like it.
A fast, some kind of weapon with fast on it.
Okay. So we have kind of a very linear path so far. But Mechlin seems to be pulling slightly ahead, has gone through Crescent Lake faster than the other runner. And the notable things here, we're working with weird technology tonight, guys. So we got the cube out of Marsh, the crystal out of Crescent Lake, and the shop item is in Crescent for 13k.
Did we notice what the shop item was?
The ruby.
Ah. And there's the ship. There's the ship in Volcano Armory. And it's worth, and I will comment that Mechlin's play was worth it to take the couple of chests you can get easily and then go straight for armory because of the density.
And it looked like probably enough gold out of there to cover the ruby purchase.
And there was
But-
a fast, and there was a fast item that he found in there.
Yep, they did find a fast item there. Now we don't have a canal yet, and we don't know if that's going to be ice or if that's going to be crystal or what. But the fast sword definitely is a nice pickup. Especially if it's equipable, but you never know until you actually put it on, kind of thing.
It looks like it's not equipable on the thief.
So I see the axe got pushed there. The fast sword is currently sitting on one of the fighters.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's
the fast sword is not
on the fighter
equipable
either.
right now.
And Odoron making that same play. Making that same play to get... But Odoron is checking all of the hairpins. That feels to me like... That feels to me like it's a big gamble. That, as we know, isn't going to pay off. Well, except in XP, and except in the XP from those EXPs. And Mechlin is making the ice cave play. What do you think of that? What do you think of making the ice cave play?
I realize I've been talking with my mic muted. I think it is the principled and correct play. We don't want to go to turn in the crystal just yet. We definitely want to clear out ice first so that we can get things moving. Now, an important note with this flag set is that the incentive items that are in regular old dungeons, ice, ordeals, and marsh, those are in their vanilla location. That looks like an agama tile.
That
At the
does, in
drop
fact,
down.
look like an agma tile at the drop down, which is a fully safe tile to take.
Also notable that Mechlin does have a black belt,
Yes.
but is going to continue checking chests.
Well, no. Mechlin is going to get the... here's my theory. Mechlin is going to get the incentive item, drop back down, and take the agma grind.
It's possible, but the amount of chest checking that I'm seeing happen right now tells me that Mechlin is thinking of not leaning into the black belt just yet.
And yes, it is. Yes, as Thavion Hawk, one of our trackers, points out in chat, it is more items, more XP.
Yeah, our progressive scaling on this is 10% per key item.
That was an Ice 2 hammer. Might also have been seeing if there was a better grind in. Might also have been seeing if there's a better grind here in Ice.
And that gets us the herb, which, you know, I don't hate, because the ship is going to land at Elf.
Oh, no to Agma grind. That's Stone Touch.
I mean, Stone Touch... A stone had hit the first thief before. That first thief has been stoned on Mechlin's side for a while.
Oh. My mistake. I thought I saw it hit and go stoned.
Oh, stun touch.
Stun touch.
Pass.
Yeah, yep, pass on that. That's a big old negative.
What I am kind of seeing, though, is Mechlin doesn't seem too keen on keeping the thief upright. What I'm also seeing, though, is Odron is for sure heading towards Carrie. Scar also heading towards Carrie. Ravioli into ice.
Odron going 2-man. Fighter thief.
Oh, Odron is doing that too? I know that... No, Odron is healing up the full party. It's Ravioli that's got the 2-man.
Oh, my mistake. It's Ravioli. It's 2-man. It was one of the two on the right-hand side.
I'm not super surprised. Ravioli likes to play kind of aggressive, and the 2-man is very aggressive in this.
Yeah.
The inventory management and the relatively weaker spell selection is going to be a thing. We are seeing the use of the Invis 2 and the fast items here. Now, what I hope is that we have damage... Okay, 5 hits, 160-ish, it looked like. It looks like Odron's probably got the material to do this. Stop shirt coming out. Very interesting and spicy play there. I like it. It is part of the status weakness that Carrie has.
Yeah.
Now, MDEF is still a thing. But...
And Mechlin, that's a Dargon armor.
Dargon. And there is the canal.
Herb becomes Rod also.
Excellent. Alright, so Mechlin probably about to head generally in the direction of Earth. I would guess. Though, I would really want to see that ruby get purchased before stopping at the Melman Con. Just so you can get the whole shebang done at once. Alright, Odron onwards and upwards in the ice direction. Carry 1 has Blizzard. Please.
Ouch.
Please.
Ouch.
Oh. Alright. So many encounters as Mechlin's getting through the sea there. Scar done with Volcano. And Mechlin is going to head straight into Earth.
No ruby, so no way to get around to Sarda.
The ruby is for sale in Crescent Lake.
Right.
So that was my thought, was I would want to see the stop at Crescent Lake for the whole proximity piece. Just on the thought that the floater could come out of either of those two locations.
Yeah. And it looks like Ravioli may have forgotten where the ship was going to spawn.
You know, that's the thing that happens from time to time. It's okay.
If I said I've never gone to the wrong dock for the ship, I would be lying.
Odron taking some Agamas here. Scar headed up to turn in that crystal. But has not gone to ice yet. So that's a bit of a gamble in my mind.
A little
Mechlin
bit
just charging through, though.
A little bit because proximity.
Well, so it was a 50-50 of whether the canal was going to come out of ice or this crystal turn in, more or less. And, I mean, guessed right in that regard. However, we do know that now, as viewers, that ice cave is required.
Yes.
Welcome,
Because
Raiders from the Sensible Streamer.
because yeah, Odoron was taking that Agama grind.
You know, just getting a little meat on the bones with the party, probably not a bad idea,
Especially when you run into Seafood Party Platter.
Yeah. Interesting that there was a ribbon just in that little closet room. Heck yeah.
Oh,
We love ribbons.
the trap tile closet.
Yeah. Now, this is the floor where the incentive item will be. We shall see what we get out of it.
Gold.
It is the floater. Okay, well, you know what? Heck that ruby. We don't need no ruby. Mechlin was right. We're never going to need that ruby. Titans is not incentivized. We can just fly over to Sarda. And that's actually pretty natural routing once we get there, because we'll be able to translate the slab as well and then head on up and do all that jazz.
Yeah.
Actually, I think more natural routing is going to be on the way out of Melmond, we translate, because then when we get the airship, we can do Bottle and then Lefane.
Bottle, Lefane, yeah, all of it. Oh, we have a bottle. Where was that bottle?
I think Bottle was pretty early.
Asking because our tracker is showing that Mechlin is not showing it on Mechlin.
Oh, Canaria Castle. Oh, so when Mechlin got the key, they didn't head back. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's an easy one to forget. That's an easy one to miss.
So that would explain a little bit of the lead that Mechlin pulled out to very quickly here. Okay.
I think, but looks like Mechlin's going to get that slab translated. So as to not get looped.
And Scarcerer bought the ruby and walked on through. Gets a ribbon from Sarda. Okay. We now know where 2 ribbons are.
I mean, absolutely not ever going to turn down getting a ribbon.
Right. It is funny that I don't know how many people are actually going to check the spike tile room on Vampire Floor. Like, there's an inherent risk to checking that room, right? Like, it's nice in that you know what the spike tile is, but at the same time, it's kind of horrible if it turns out to be a risky tile. Star did not do ice, and therefore doesn't have the rod to go do earth. Oof.
Is better trap treasure on?
That's a good question.
I don't remember from when I was looking at these flags.
It is
on Friday. So it's a risk, but we know that's going to be something good.
That makes sense. Okay.
And loot is at Lefane.
Interesting. The loot hint in Melmond. Wow, that's actually, like, legitimately helpful? What is this? Since when does the game give us legitimately helpful information?
What is this legitimately helpful hints at later towns?
So, you know what's really funny? And I just found out that, because sometimes I leave little Easter eggs and flag sets. I didn't realize that if you have the Lefane Superstore flag turned on and then you remove all the shop doors, it actually grays it out, which means that it's still going to display only the level 8 magic slots and not like the whole Superstore. Because the whole Superstore with no doors would be really funny to.
That would be really, really funny.
All right, Mechlin into Ordeals, Ravioli into Earth, Odron trying to catch up, I think, and Scar headed in and doing the fabulousness of Ice. So we have like true divergence. Okay. Now, one thing to note with Ordeals is it will be a bit of an ordeal. We will have no means of casting Warp unless a character rolls Telemat.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
But fortunately in this seed, the 4-pack room was early, and so didn't have a whole lot of. Oh, that's the wrong eye. That is not the correct eye.
Now, personally, I'm hoping to see the chime here.
Ice armor +6.
That's a real good armor. Pure 2 weapons, by the way, very valuable. Very valuable.
Very, very valuable.
And that was the Excal. That is telling me that bottle is going to turn into either... Oh, wait, no, we have Waterfall still on the table. Waterfall is still on the table for an incentive location, but that bottle is going to be something important.
Yeah. That bottle's going to turn into a tail, an oxyale, or a chime eventually. Well,
most likely.
Not necessarily.
We do have the Masa still in the incentive pool, unknown.
It could end up turning into a Masa.
But the very strong likelihood is that bottle is going to be some piece of the progression. At least the way that I'm thinking of things.
Thavion Hawken in chat suggesting crown, but that just means it's a chain into something. It's still going to eventually be.
All right, so Mechlin heading down to get that loot from Lefane. Thank you, hint givers.
Yes, it's still going to eventually turn into Masa, tail, oxyale, or chime. Let's see if Odron tries Vampire's Closet.
Ravioli has fed Lich the cake. The cake boss is pleased. Shoutouts to Dengwu, who is probably not watching this.
Delicious cake.
Delicious cake.
Oh, and Mechlin getting stopped by the Lefanian linebackers. Oh, that feels bad.
It's okay. Again, this is something that everybody has the risk of encountering.
Odron does, in fact, check that chest. Check that closet.
2 ribbons on Odron's side. Very nice to see.
Which, if I'm Odron, I'm putting those 2 ribbons on the 2 thieves, because my fighters already have 5/8 of a ribbon.
Right. And honestly, the dragon armor covers you for that just as well, because it was the non-elemental one, or like the non-damaged ones, right? So
PEDTS. So
yes. poison, earth, death, time status. So
Yeah.
that leaves fire, ice, and lightning. So
Dragon does most of that.
All of that.
Oh, it does all of that.
Yeah, it does all three. Dragon armor is very good.
I was thinking it didn't do lightning because Opal did lightning.
Ah, geez, we're punning loots in chat. All right, we've got slimes on the tile in Waterfall, and we have fire 2 sticks. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I might, spin that around a couple more times. Just
yeah.
like,
Let's run that one a couple more times. Oh, and multiple XP chests.
all right,
That's
Waterfall is our masa, which is good to know and also sad. What do we drop for it? Yep, the cake knife is the correct answer. Now, helpful, this masa also comes with lock 2, I think it was?
Yes.
As the inventory check occurs, and Mechlin realizes that something is wrong. Mechlin has realized that the bottle has not been found yet. Ravioli getting quickly through ordeals. Scar headed into Earth finally, has picked up that rod from the herb chain. Odron out of Earth.
Presumably Mechlin has figured it out.
I think at the very least, Mechlin has gotten to the point of, I have to move. And my hope is that Mechlin has figured it out.
The reason I say it with such confidence is that at least if it were me, if I hadn't figured it out, I would keep taking that metal slime tile while I thought about it.
That's a good point.
Because all those levels are not going to go amiss.
The other thing, and Thavian pointing it out in chat, is because of the format of the Platy Party, which is you don't get the flags until the seed is rolled, and you have 10 minutes, in theory, before the race starts to figure out what the heck is going on. It can be very easy to misremember incentive locations or anything else if you didn't have that pulled up on a second monitor or, something like that. Scar is going to get that ribbon out of Earth. Now, where does Mechlin fly? We are headed south. This is looking good. This is looking right. Okay.
This is looking correct.
Except for that trying to land on the concrete twice. It's okay, we've all been there. I always loved Final Fantasy III, the Famicom one, for the fact that there is a scene where your airship gets blown up when you fly over a town.
Never played that one.
It's not great, but it's the first one with the job system. And I mean, it's got its interesting things going on. It has 4 different airships. The first one you get very quickly, and then you install a battering ram on it, and you slam it into a rock, because you can't get over the rock for some reason. Alright, Ravioli apparently has turned in this bottle and gotten an oxyale for the trouble. So Mechlin probably not feeling great about having to double dip the Onrak continent. Nobody really likes doing that. But I think is in a substantial enough position that it's not as bad as it could be.
Right.
Ravioli going to be the first one in. Now, Random C, unlock, Mermaid Prison turned on. This tells you that the very high likelihood is that, first off, check the second chest on the floor that you start on, the split here.
Yes.
Just like Ravioli did. But the left side is where it's going to be almost every time. Rav, why? Kraken first.
Maybe forgot that Mermaid Prism was on.
Maybe. There's not a whole lot to look for here. But again, this is also that problem of, like, what am I missing? You know, in terms of the flag set and all of that. Is specifically going to TFC North first. I was a little surprised that Ravioli didn't take the Gershark Big Eye.
Because
just running from everything. Oh,
it goes with Ravioli's aggressive style. He's making the aggressive play. The aggressive play is the incentives in TFC North.
Well,
there's
Ravioli also
in greed.
Yep.
In greed room.
So Ravioli did check TFC itself, which tells me, maybe just forgot. All of these dungeons are focused. The Fiend dungeons are focused randoms. The regular non-Fiend dungeons, those are vanilla locations.
Yeah, this is probably a didn't remember the flags because he only got 10 minutes to look at them.
Yeah. Picking up another Cure 2 item doesn't really make sense. There were 2 in that 4th slot. But Mechlin, all the way to Kraken already. Notable also for Mechlin, though, is that the fire orb is not lit. Ravioli and Mechlin both skipped out on Volcano finishing it out, and we'll have to go back there eventually. Right.
Ravioli making his way back down to the split in C.
Scar airborne now. All of our runners have their airships, I believe, which is great. And always worry about that.
And now heading to check Kraken's side.
All right, so Mechlin gonna go turn in that crown, get that chime out of the deal. So, a special little call out here. Always remember that when you are fighting Astos, he's very evasive.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. But also, as I recall, does not have great MDef.
No, actually, he's pretty good MDef, honestly. It's just, he has a very, very small hit point pool compared to most of the other major encounters. Now, I think if I'm in the runner's shoes here, the only thing that makes me consider trying to dig out this this tail from Sky is that I have a
I have an X-Cal.
Yeah, but we also have a Masa, and the Masa can be put on whoever, and it's fine, right? The Dragon Armor does play into it too, like, theoretically. We are just trying to figure out all of our stuff right now. All right, Ravioli on to Kraken. The Invis 2 knife coming out. Sleep 2 from Kraken, but it is ineffective. That's good. Damage poison, a little
Damage
scary,
poison.
but we're fine.
We'll see if Mecklin's even going to try, because Mecklin's not even looking for stuff now. We'll see if Mecklin even looks and even tries to do the sky chests. There is the eye.
I would not be taking the eye
I would
there.
not be taking an eye grind.
I like the, incidental metal slime pack.
Yeah.
Ravioli with the lightning 2 from the hammer coming out, takes out Kraken, lights the water orb. Mecklin is digging for this incentive item.
Which means Mecklin wants to promote.
In theory.
Because we know that that's the only item it can be, is the tail.
So one thing that I always wonder about is, you get deep in the seed and does it 100% of the time click that I'm in go mode? That can be hard.
It can be. It can be.
So another thing I want to toss out on the inventory management piece, this is again, this is a lesson that I think the Ducks need to hear for this flag set. Just like any other casters and how you put your spells in one order, do the same thing with your weapons. Because we saw Mecklin struggling with Fire 2 in 3 different locations based on which character it was. So that is kind of a big deal. Fast Sword couldn't be used. Defense Sword also would not be usable until promotion. So it could be a katana, but I didn't see stats.
I also didn't notice can be used by. Mecklin up to Sky Provides. I did not notice if Mecklin checked everything.
Did not check Spider.
Okay. I agree with that. It's not worth checking Spider.
Yeah, it's always the last place to look. Notable, though, there was a gold bracelet and a pro cape with decent pluses on them. Very good equipment. There's the tail in the 6-pack of Sky 3.
And at that point, it's worth just finishing off the room.
Yep. Was that right, down, right? And there was a patrolling Warmech, but we're saying
there was patrolling Warmech.
We're saying heck the mech here.
And Mecklin about to pull a Tiamat one.
Odron sneakily coming up pretty quick here, as having already finished the volcano.
Yes.
Just once the crown is turned in, gets the chime, we'll be able to head to Tia.
And we do in fact have on mid Topher. Mid Topher is best Topher.
I'm on board with that. I have been practicing for my flag set reveal that happens in a week and a half, and therefore Topher is a non-existent thing. Ravioli checked one side. Or no, Ravioli must have done the others because we're in for Spider right now. Mechlin charging down the volcano. It's time to go fight Carrie. And Odoron into Mirage. Scar, honestly, not far behind. This is a very competitive group here.
Yep, very much so. A Zap Stick.
We're kind of past the point of Zap Sticks, unfortunately.
It is an interesting choice from Ravioli to take the Zap Stick.
I also really like the Mechlin sprite sheet, especially the fact that the chest like wiggle as it's walking up and down. Because all that happens from the sprite point of view is there's a top half and a bottom half of the map man, and the bottom half flips back and forth on a vertical axis. So yeah, very entertaining to me, the whole jiggle thing.
Star making the run down to down through C. Mechlin heading down to promote. Let's see. Okay, let's see what these sprites turn into. Looks
the
like
map man hasn't done a whole lot.
Star has picked up that crown.
Excellent. Now, yes, Mechlin checks the heal pot situation. Is going to go restock. Very important in your Topher prep with these flags. Yes. Odoron pulls the mech. Wants that XP. I cannot blame him. Mechlin finding out that there were not heal potions, by the looks of it, over in the Canaria shop. If I'm going to a replacement shop at this point, I'm checking Crescent Lake first. Especially... Oh, actually... That's a good pickup there of several Phoenixes.
Yes.
So, Phoenix is a life, and it can be used in or out of battle. And going to go just double check the weapon shop here. I think... Yeah, getting rid of the Brack swords makes complete sense. And then going to pick up those Invis 2.
Pick up those Invis 2 knives.
I wouldn't mind seeing a heal 2 stick or 2 as well.
Yeah. It just makes... It makes for less variance. Absolutely.
And, you know, it's really important as you're going in, thinking about your solutions for Topher problems, right? Because I don't recall seeing anything that does Temper or Saber. So those are concerns when you're walking into your Topher. Like, how am I getting the strength to finish this off? The Black Belt solves for that. If you actually did the grind. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
All right, Scar headed to go turn in that crown.
The fast sword kind of solves for that if you've got high crit or high base damage weapons.
Kind of? Alright. Now Mechlin is hopefully finally going to find the heal potions of their dreams. Yes. We have found them. Life is so much better. Zapstrat on Tia is unfortunately not great. Brack and Bane definitely stronger options for that. But it is time for Mechlin to head in to the Topher. We'll be the first one on stream to get there. Odron and Ravioli going to be fighting this Tiamat at the same time, which is really funny because
Odron did down that Warmech, by the way.
Yeah, but Ravioli's been on this Tiamat for like minutes. Okay.
Ravioli clears that Tiamat.
There's that Tiamat, there's that air orb. Ravioli still needs to do Volcano for carry, and then we'll be ready to go, we hope. There's a T-Rex. We take those.
Yes, we take blue stake. Always. Especially when we only have 2 party members.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. Level 30 on both of those characters. No surprise, Mechlin already passed the Lich and on to carry 2. 10 hits, 465. Not bad.
Exactly, Thavion. Thavion in chat says, past the what? Exactly. Mechlin wait. There was a carry 2 fight? I missed it. I blanked.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Now, a thing that will be noted, and I'm sure that I'll be asked as soon as we're done with interviews for the flags so that people can race these right away. Spoiler, you can just steal them from the race room. Fine. But the boss scaling is not particularly aggressive in these flags. We're at 100 to 180% on stats, so it is a little higher than some of the things we've done, but it's not particularly big. Map check drink coming out of Ravioli, by the way.
Sometimes you need to do that.
Topher.
So when I have random sky, I check all of first floor. I check all of Sky Cross. I skip Spider. I check Sky Provides. If I haven't found it between Cross and Sky Provides, I check Spider.
I generally will do all of Sky 3 before I go back to Spider.
Yes, that's what I mean, all of Sky 3.
Big nuke coming out from Kraken 2, which feels real bad when you've just been invis-2ing people. And yeah, it's time for Cure 2 items if we've got them. We're getting fasts out. We're getting lit 2'd and losing both thieves. This could be a little dicey, but making it real apparent that those pickups of Phoenixes was good.
Yeah,
the Black Belt does have life 2, though.
I was going to say this is why you pick up the Phoenix.
Even using the F cures out of battle just to keep the time down. Very sharp play there. It looks like we're trusting in our melee, and we're not going to do evasion strats here. I'm a little concerned when I see Zap come out first, but it's okay. Lit 2 to follow, not really a big deal. Ice 2, also not a big deal. It is nice that there are 2 decent swords being swung here, but it is
Yes.
notable that the black belt is only like level 24 or something, so yeah.
Yeah, that feels not great. Mechlin getting ready to pull a chaos. There's a temper item.
Oh.
There is a temper item in Volcano 5-pack.
Interesting. Alright, Ravioli about to take carry 1. Chaos pulled on Mecklin's side. We see Odron just getting past Kraken 2.
Was a nuclear I saw from Chaos?
If there was, it wasn't particularly damaging. That party's looking still decently healthy. Invis
I
2
could have been
stack still
wrong.
going out. We just put out about 800 damage in those 2 swings. Swing, swing, wait, wait coming out from this party. It's another 292 and 298. It looks like we're doing pretty well here. 312, 535, but the Cure 4 comes out. Chaos back to full health.
Well, but that means you've got turns to. That means you've got most of your buffs in. You've got turns to just burn them down.
Yeah. Throwing the full cure out onto the thief with the masa makes sense to me. Ravioli unfortunately forgot to actually get the loot. I'm really, really hoping that this was translated. Yes, it was. Okay. So, no Lupa Lupa. Scar going to promote right now.
I once looped myself twice in the same seed.
Oh! Ooh. But that is a GG from Mechlin. First on stream,
GG
third
Mechlin.
overall. First place finish, Woobear with a 54.36. Fry Teeth with a 59.11. Mechlin at 59.54 in the racetime.gg room. Odron up to Tia 2, getting that damage out.
Yeah. And Ravioli heading in, gonna GG Mechlin.
Yo. Hold on.
So how you feeling about that?
That was a lot of fun. I hate that I memory hold Canary locked for the entire seed. What was my last location possible?
Yeah, it feels bad because you had just gone to Waterfall and then found it out.
Yep.
So you had to double dip on rack, but
By the way, Scar heading into Topher.
But yep, I felt pretty bad about that. I was like, at that point, I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw hints that said that everything else was like an item, but I'm gonna go check just in case I misread the hint. And then at some point, I was like, oh my god, Canary locked. Canary locked is incentivized. That's your stupid progression. All right. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've last location more than a couple things in my time. We all do it.
But I will say that you did very well overall. I think that your performance was very crisp. You made very decisive choices on things. And the majority of the seed, it really seemed like it panned out for you. I am curious.
Like I got how many insta kills?
Enough.
Like
Enough.
4 of them, I think, at least.
Did you realize it right away in Waterfall? Right away after you'd gotten Waterfall incentive?
No, I think I was still trying to figure out what I had missed at that point. Because, like, that confirmed my suspicion that the waterfall incentive, I did remember that hint. But then, like, I was trying to think, what else could I possibly missed? Because, like, I'm pretty sure everything else was done. Marsh Lock wasn't on, right? No. Cardio wasn't on, right? No. Okay, then what did I miss? The shop item. I remember seeing the shop item. But yeah, so yeah, it happens. I didn't like
By the way,
Chaos's Tier 4 there either, whenever it was probably almost at 0
um,
HP too. And
Yeah.
then
if I can
all my damage
interrupt,
rolls afterwards being pathetic.
if I can interrupt, by the way, get GG's out in chat for Odron, second on stream, 5th overall.
GG's.
Between Mechlin and Odoron was Climentitas with a time of 102.18, and then Odoron 102.29.
GG's Odron.
Thanks.
GG's.
Man, where was that tail?
It was
It was in Sky's 3 6-pack.
I thought about going over there, but I'm like, if it's not in these easy checks, I don't want to look for it.
I had dragon armor, I had the X-Cal, I had a katana. I was like, I
too.
probably want all that. I want that tail. I don't care if I have to go out of my way for that tail. I want that tail.
I was very curious, Mechlin, your decision to take the black belt. What was the motivation?
The clean magic, I just wanted to see what it was. And if it wasn't really anything, I was probably going to end up using it as like a utility and it's probably going to be dead most of the seed.
Gotcha.
Because like I know with the curated magic, it's not, you can't get like nuke stuff, you can't get fade, but you can get stuff like Brack and insta kills. So I was like, I could at least use it for that for the fights and hope that it pans out for me. And then if clean magic ends up rolling with a life spell, which it rolled life and life too, which is hilarious. It worked out because then I had that life 2 in the backup just in case I needed it. I don't think I actually used it though.
You were about to during
Yeah.
Kraken 2, and then you killed Kraken 2.
Right, that's right. Okay.
But it was funny watching you do the shop chase down to find the heal pots, and then you're like, wait a minute, there are phoenixes for sales in Provoca.
I saw that and I was like, I have a lot of money too. I might as well just buy a bunch. And I didn't know, I didn't do any math. I just kind of bought like 5 or so and I was like, this should be good enough.
And see, my thought on it was that you were going to, when you saw that Agma and the ice drop down, that you were going to check the other ice tiles to see if there was something better, get the item, and then grind on the Agma tile.
Not gonna lie, I
on
did
the
think
Agma
about it.
tile.
I did think about it, but I'm not very confident in my black belt skills, and I had already opened a lot of chests at that point too. So
So get your GGs out in chat for Ravioli, who just finished with a 104.48, 7th overall. 6th place, Phoenix 29 with a 102.58. Nice clustering happening here.
Yeah, nice.
jeez.
Everyone finishing pretty close together. That's a nice thing to see.
And Scar in on the Chaos fight as well. So I do want to toss some questions Odron's way. Odron, how'd you feel about this seed?
I'm not really the best on the mage on the stick stuff because I like to know where my spells are and who can use them. And I was desperately looking for a temper stick and just never found one.
I hear you there. Welcome to
And-
Booth Scar, as you just finished 4th on stream, 8th overall. GG.
Jeez.
GG's.
Jeez.
GG.
This has been a really close seed.
Yeah, lots of very competitive performances here. Scar, how'd you feel about it?
I helped Woober make the mage on a stick for Lefanian League. You killed my boy. Where's my nuke on a stick?
So it's funny because like I don't pay attention to Lefanian League. Like I mean, it's super cool. I do recommend people go check it out if you're into it. I have been struggling with burnout for a while, so I've been staying casual. But I had no idea that this was also happening in Lefanian League at any point. But curated Magic, I'm kind of big on.
I mean, it's great for like if you're doing it for over the course of the World Tournament. This is a one-off race. You could have given us Nick on a stick.
It's
Well-
also an educational stream.
Yes,
We're-
it's
we're
also
teaching ducks.
educational for our ducklings. So
Like I don't necessarily want Nuke on a stick 4 times over coming out of your Canaria shop and trivializing the whole seed.
I guess that's fair.
I mean,
Pretty
You gotta
much
learn
you
the
do
instant
skill.
kill strat sometimes. You gotta learn how to adapt to these weird situations sometimes.
That's
I
why I
will.
Two
I will
thieves as
make
well
a,
because of the elemental.
I will interrupt for one thing. Let's get Gigi's out for Dark Moon and PCMN 1331 with times of 107.12 and 108.14 respectively. Since we've just passed those times.
Heck yeah. So I do want to get just from all of you runners in the booth here, because I don't know if Ravioli is available for interview or not. But Rav, if you're
Yeah.
listening and you want to jump in, please do. But lessons for the ducks, like thoughts about racing these flags and what to keep in mind. Just quick go around the.
Step routing is very important. I know whenever I first started playing, I had the maps, the location maps from the wiki page pulled up, and I played seeds and I kind of watched. I looked at the routing and kind of made sure, and then it just kind of hammered into me. Make sure that you're taking the free steps everywhere that you can, and try and take the shortest paths everywhere that you can. Try and know where they're at. I still struggle with like Sea Shrine. Sea Shrine, like I don't know. I can't ever get the floors right. I don't know why, but yeah, step routing is very important, and trying to figure out your encounter manipulation on the overworld really helps. This one was like a little funky. It was like a quick one, and then a little short, and then there was like 4 back to back that you would have to reset through to get a nice long hero run. And I noted too that it was a 734 or 735 encounter, which means if you burn those 5 outside of a dungeon, you could get a pretty long hero run inside the dungeon. And that really shaves off a lot of time. So, yeah, other than that,
Odron.
yeah.
Odron, your thoughts on that?
Well, for this type of seed specifically, don't be afraid to fill up all your weapons. That way, while you're going around checking chests, you can see what the weapon is and decide on the fly if you want to drop something for it. And if not, that's just a little bit less time taken to actually go through the whole obtaining an item from a chest.
That's a really good subtlety that even I didn't necessarily realize.
I think that's a strategy that a lot of people use, especially with the monster in a box flags. But that is a good lesson here too, for sure. Scar, lessons for the ducks.
Piggybacking on the what to watch out for when you're looting weapons, it's not just what they cast, because sometimes you get a really good weapon that doesn't cast anything useful. Like both the katana and the Excal were casting Cure 2. So like pay attention, like when you loot an item, the game will tell you what it hurts and who can wield it. So if it's a hurt for stuff, if it hurts a boss that you're about to fight, or if it's equipped to a promo class, you might be able to decide that it's worth taking, worth throwing something away for. Like hurt all is your X-Cal, right? But there's more to it than that.
Yeah, and recognizing weapons based on their stats, based on what they hurt, is very important in these. Um, my litmus is the Masa has the 50 hit, the X-Cal has hurt all and low crit, the Katana has 30 something attack and 75 crit. The Vorpal has like 24 attack and 75 crit. So like the named weapons can be kind of tricky to identify, so you have to have like something in your head to identify what they are for the actual purposes of swinging.
Yes, this is the way.
And yeah, for sure, who can wield it? If you see Red Mage can wield it and it's got high crit, that's a Vorpal.
Yeah, and if it's got high crit and if it's only a ninja can wield it, it's Katana. If it's only a knight can wield it, it's an X-Cal. If it's all classes can wield it, it's either. What else can all classes wield besides the Masa?
As far as weapons, nothing.
Yeah, if it's everyone
Not even
can
the
wield
wood
it,
stick?
it's a Masa.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think. Do we have a final thoughts to go around as well?
Would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Macklin?
Yeah, Macklin.
Thanks for the crew for coming out tonight. GG's to all the runners, and thanks to the Duckling Dons, you guys, for putting this on for us. It's fun stuff. It's very educational. I know when I first joined, I watched a lot of the videos. I looked at a lot of the wiki stuff. It's very helpful. So if you're looking to get into racing, this is the best way to do it.
All right, Odron.
I just want to thank y'all for putting this together, allowing us to showcase flags for others to see and maybe learn from, watching our mistakes and your guys' commentary on what we could have done or what we did do. And thanks to RPG Limit Break for letting us share Final Fantasy with everyone else.
Heck yeah. Scar.
More of the same. Thanks y'all for putting this on. But the people demand who kind of stick.
DM, your final thoughts.
So less on the seed and more on the program itself. This is a fun program. It was a fun program when I was trying to do duckling derbies and never having the right timing to do them. And I want to make the point of if there is something that we of the experienced runners in the booth make a point of mentioning often, and even hanging the lampshade on the fact that we mention often, it's because it is that important to keep in mind. If that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Well, for my part, I do want to say thank you to all of our runners. We had 11 people participating in this race in the race room. Maybe a couple slipped in off to the side as well, because I know that Chanigan had to drop from the race for being the awesome enabler and helper for Luffy to get the restream put together. I want to thank both of our trackers, Rax, and Thavian Hawk, my co-com's DM Stewart 1981. Thank you so much. Luffy, thank you for all of the hard work. This was a stressful start to our stream tonight, and we made it happen. To the Ducks, thank you for coming out and watching, and all of the spectators, we appreciate you coming out. Thank you, RPG Limit Break, for letting us use the channel to show off our new player program for Final Fantasy Randomizer. If you're not yet in the Discord, hit it up. You can go to finalfantasyrandomizer.com, and there is a link for the Discord available on the site. as well as our wiki. There's all the information popped up from the bot. Thank you so much, Odron. Come hang out with us. We're a good time. At least I like to think so. And if you have any questions about what you saw tonight, pop the questions into the new player duck pond. That's where all of our new players can come and ask pretty much anything about the game. And we have a very helpful community when it comes to answering those sorts of questions. More of the boot camp to come. We've got our community race tomorrow night, as well as our Duckling Weekly going up tomorrow morning. Wednesday night, we'll have our next reveal stream.
That weekly will go up at about 6:30 Central U.S. time. 6:30 in the morning.
Rock on. Wednesday evening, we will have our next reveal stream. Luffy DV is going to be our fabulous runner for that. The Platy party resumes next Sunday with the next set of flags. It's a mystery to them until the seed is rolled, so they get 10 minutes to figure it out. That's part of the fun of the Platy party. You get to watch these pretty experienced runners try to figure out everything they have to figure out and do their race. So also keep in mind, community race Thursday night, async weekly Thursday morning. We got lots of FFR for you. So come check us out. Put the spectator roll on if you want to see some stuff. Put the duckling roll on if you want to come learn some stuff. And with that, I'm Saracen, joined in the booth by DM Stewart 1981. And we're signing off. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.